repping the station to it is what it is.
What it is, TV man.
I've been to a lot of places, met a lot of people of different races and cultures. But it's one thing that's been obvious to me. There is no group of people on this earth that are more unique or resilient as the people from my city. That's why I have decided to become a vessel for the people of Franklin, Louisiana, to share their stories with the world. Franklin Tells. Welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is TV, Franklin Tells. I'm here with Tamika, right here from Franklin. So look, this is what we're gonna do. Tamika, I talked to you earlier and you told me that you was gonna give it to me. So I'm not even gonna hold the audience up. So Franklin Tells, here we go. Tamika, tell me about your childhood.
I ain't really had no childhood. Went through back surgery when I was 16, right after I had my baby, to try to provide for my family. I didn't want to go through the back surgery, but it was told to me that I was going to be able to get benefits from it. So that's what I did. I got a cut from the top of the back to the crack of my butt. But it is what it is. I had a baby. And come to find out, it didn't add up like it was supposed to add up because of the situation of my mom with her problems. And it took me fast because it was like they was in charge of everything. So the money didn't even touch my hand. I was still in school. I couldn't really finish school because I couldn't find a babysitter and stuff like that. And the babysitter that I had was with my mom and my aunt. And they couldn't really keep the baby because they was unfit in a way. Because they had a habit that had them moving around a little bit too much to the point where I had to stop school and take care of my own child. And the things that they was doing, I had to get involved with that to actually keep myself above the water, which was get out there and sell drugs because guess what? The money was at my house. So I just really blended in with them to try to get what I needed to have for my son and I. I really didn't have no childhood life. I didn't go to no prom. I didn't get to do none of that stuff. So today when children have opportunity to do things like this, they really need to keep doing what they have to do for themselves and not end up in the same situation that I was in. Because there's more to life than just having kids, selling drugs, stuff like that. My life, it wasn't what it needed to be. And it's still not what it needs to be. But I just thank God I'm still here and I have somebody that I can try to keep up and try to get them through what I didn't go through and try to tell them what's right. And I know they're not perfect neither. They're going to make mistakes. But like I said, I really didn't have no childhood life. So I really can't really tell you that because I really didn't have none. The streets was my life. The streets was my life. It had to be my life because that was the only way I was going to make it. So I fell to the streets, selling drugs, stealing, and in and out of jailhouses. I didn't want to do this stuff, but this is what I did because the things I was doing. You know, I wanted to do better, but I just kept up with everybody else, following the road, following them. But today I choose to follow my own thoughts and my own ways because I know what's right. I know what's right.
Okay, so take me back to, I guess, you said you had a baby at 16, right?
Yes.
What about around the ages of, let's say, between 8, 10 to 15? How was that? Like, what was the struggle? Were you getting along with your mom? Did you stay with your mom?
Man, I didn't live with my mom. I lived with Regina Campbell and Cubby Campbell from out of Houston. I came to Franklin. They brought me to my grandmother just for like a weekend. And when the lady came back to get me, they told me to get back in the house. And I'm like, get back in the house for what? You know, that's my mama. And they didn't want me to go out there. So I'm in the window looking and she said, she's right there. Why don't y'all just let her out? They didn't want me to go back with them. My life would have been a lot better than what it is today. Yes, it would have. I probably wouldn't have as many kids, but that's okay. I thank God for my kids. But 8 years old, I wasn't here. When I got here, I was like 12. My mom was in Donaldsonville. You know, I was back and forth there. She didn't want me there with her. She was using needles. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where the child protective service was at when I had to go through abuse and neglect and stuff like this. You know, my mom had a gun in my head when I was like 10, you know, because of the situation what she was going through. But I didn't fault my mom for what she did because I knew she had a problem. And I had to deal with that as a child. And sometimes it goes through my mind, went through my mind a lot of times as, you know, when she was here, but I didn't hold that grudge against my mom because I really just found out, you know, being 12 years old, this your mom. So you gotta accept this. That's what I'm saying. Like, where the child protective service ain't now. They can tell the people at the school, they tell it to her, you go home and get another aspirin.
So, Tamika, you had a gun to your head at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Can you tell me what you remember about that day? Like, what caused it?
What caused it as a child, you know, you go through different things, and, you know, when it's time for your ministry to come down or something like that, you know, you're going to spot some in your clothes, you know, as a young lady. So I guess she wasn't really with it, you know, to the point of understanding young lady things. Because she never had nobody to really teach her anything, too. She told me part of her stuff. So I see why she was beating me, because her dad used to beat her and hold her in the room and all that stuff. And my grandmother really didn't say anything, you know, put her child up for adoption. There's a lot of stuff she was crying, telling me after she did this stuff to me. So I'm like, God help her, help me, because I'm like hurt right now. They beat me with brooms and stuff like that, you know, but that was her. She was angry, you know, but you don't have to live like that. That's why today I really don't fight with my kids and fuss. I don't have time for that. You know, because if I beat you, I'm going to think about what I had to get back in the day, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. It really wasn't.
I mean, as a 10-year-old child with a gun to your head, that's pretty traumatic. So I definitely feel you on that. What about your father? Was your father ever around during that time?
Man, I don't have no dad. My dad didn't help me. That's the only father I can get something from. It might not come when I want it, but it's going to come when I need it.
Definitely understand that. All right, so let's go back to when you're 16. You're 16, you have your first child. Coming into being a parent, you mentioned that you really didn't have the babysitters and everything like that. Take me deeper into that time period with your first child. What made you decide, you know what, I need to go to the streets, and, you know, how that transpired?
I had a baby for a guy a little bit older than me. I was trying to get close to him. He was ripping and running. He in the mix with my mom and him. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep up with this. So
About how
to
much
get
older?
close to him, Jason is like,
Okay.
you know, three years older than me. You know, 16, 19 years old.
Gotcha.
He could have went to jail. You know what I'm saying? But in their minds, they're not thinking about no jail. They're not even thinking about the police right now. They going with the beat of the streets. So it was nothing to them. And when he ended up in my house, it really would mean nothing to them, because they let the one that actually got me pregnant and didn't even tell his parents about what happened with me. I had to call them on the phone and let them know. They're like, Jason don't have no children. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, you know, I don't know why he did it like that, but that's what I had to go through. He really didn't want me. He just was just sneaking on the side, I guess. That's why today I really don't communicate with him. You know, I don't communicate with him at all, because there's nothing to communicate about. He wasn't there in the beginning. Like I said, it was nothing but a sleep.
All right. So give me a time period. This was like what, maybe mid 90s, early 90s?
It was like in 89.
89?
Because I had my son like up in 90. Dad's born in 1990. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So around that time, give me the vibe of Franklin. What was going on? I mean, how are you surviving?
When I come to Franklin, I came from my mom for like on holidays and stuff. My grandmother sent for me. Pay someone to come, like my aunt and Eric Benjamin. He'll bring them to come pick me up. I'll come down here for the summer programs and stuff like that. And go to the rec and stuff like that. I enjoyed like stuff like that until I actually started doing stuff, with other people. Following the crowd, going to different parties and stuff like that. And then getting involved with guys, which I know wasn't gonna end up to nothing. Um, I really didn't want to, be out here in the streets with these people either because my grandmother said it was bad company to follow. Then I had to fight them when I didn't want to hang with them and stuff like that. So, as I just got caught up.
So you had your first child at 16. Being that you went through a lot of traumatic situations, i.e., having a gun pulled to your head at 10 years old, and you're still a child, but did you consider yourself to be ready for parenthood once it came to you? Like, were you?
Yes, I was really ready because simple reason they would say, "Oh, they can't hit you if you're pregnant. They can't beat you." So I'm like, "Yes, my mom can't beat me no more because I'm pregnant. She's not gonna do me nothing else." Like beat me with a broomstick and stuff like that, and take the curtain rod and whoop me with that. My sister, she like, "Why she always beat you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know."
So you were ready for parenthood as a shield of protection, not to get hit, not because you were, say, ready to have something to love.
Yes.
You were being abused so much, you were like, okay, now that I'm pregnant, you guys can't hit me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the reason.
Wow.
And by me having my son, I'm like, God, help me not to have to abuse my child like this, or even have to make him go through the things that I went through. Many nights I didn't have nothing to eat and stuff like that. She would leave me in the house for days. Nobody would know I'm there. People breaking in the house trying to take stuff out of there. Like, she was a big time dope dealer. Marijuana, trash bag, marijuana, straight up off the boat. A room just for marijuana. And I had to sit home with this here in here, terrified because I don't know who's gonna come in here. And they comes in there. They actually came in there, and I had to actually defend myself, but not really defend because I was pregnant. So I just like ran out of the house and went around the corner. And the guys who I told that the guy came in there because I seen his face, they went around there and beat the guy up. But there's a lot of stuff I went through that ain't no child supposed to be like that. No child. Or I have to sit here and watch her drugs. When she in here, she didn't use drugs and needles and blood all over the wall. I cleaned it up because I don't want the people to come here and take me away from my mama. Even though she would beat me and all this stuff, I don't want to be taken away. I don't know where they're gonna put me.
What was your feeling towards your mom? Did you hate her, or you
I
just?
was scared. I was scared. Really was. Scared.
So I mentioned that you had a sister just now. Who was the oldest, you or her?
My sister, a year older than I am.
So Tamika, if you had to put your finger on it, why do you think your mom kind of targeted you for the abuse more than your sister?
Because I had to be there. My sister had a grandmother, which is her dad, mom. She had somewhere she can go, but see, I always was there, so she had to make sure whatever she can provide, which she didn't probably want to spend. I'm figuring, you know what I'm saying? After she didn't spend it on me or whatever, to buy food or whatever, I guess she just like trigger off of like, this the reason why, I can't do this or do this now because you here. I really don't know. I really don't. And I still don't know. I just know she went through a lot of stuff in her childhood to the point her dad was molesting her and stuff. That's what she told me. And they took her child away from her when she had the first one. And I have a sister I never met, I don't know.
As you got older, did your relationship with your mom ever get better? Did you find
Yes, it
amends
did.
with that?
Yes, it did.
Tell me about that. Around what time did it happen and how did it come about?
Man, I'm not gonna tell you no word lie. My mom and my relationship be getting better to to like, oh man, in 2021.
So you guys made amends pretty much.
That was it.
Thank God for that.
Because she reigned for me and helped me to get out of jail and stuff like that. And when I got home, not knowing that she's gonna die in 22. And I didn't try to question nothing, but I know our relationship had got closer. And I wasn't using no drugs or none of that. So, she here for me. She, come clean up and, try to make her little change or whatever she needed. And, I was there to help my mom as much as I could. Because that's my mom. Like I told my kids, if she come and she asks you for something, $5 is nothing. That's your grandmother at the end of the day. Don't talk crazy to her because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. And that's not for kids to do stuff like that.
All right. Did you gain any peace from that?
I did. I really did. Because a lot of things she told me to do before she passed away, I'm still doing today because I'm not supposed to live and not pay my bills and not take care of my kids while they're in school. I have 2 kids now, one in the 12 and one in the 10. So I know I can't run with the streets and do the things that, I would actually want to do because, I'm not old to the point where I can't go nowhere and do nothing. It's just like now I want to be the mother that I'm supposed to be for them because I want them to finish school and do something with their life. It's more to life than just sitting around Franklin trying to sell drugs, smoke weed, doing sneaky stuff that's going to get you caught up with the system. I done dealt with all that already. I don't want them to have to go through that. And I don't want to have to be going there bonding them out and stuff like that. I got a son gone 40 years, doing stuff. He done murdered somebody in front of me. Why? I don't even know. But if you do something wrong, you have to go with the people. Plain and simple. And I speak that every day to them. Whenever they come for you, just be ready to go. I'm not upholding nothing wrong if you did it. So try not to do it. Make better choices.
So look, we got to put things in perspective for the audience. It's pretty much, let's say, a miracle that you're still here and you're still sane, because having a gun pulled on you at 10 years old, then having your son murder someone in front of you.
Yes. I should have lost my mind. I shouldn't be here because it could have been me. It could have been me. He could have shot me too. But God was with me. And I was crying, I was praying at the same time. I'm looking at this and I'm like, Lord, no, Lord, no. And I'm like, why? To him. And he like, just get in a car. So, some things I just have to just swallow and sit back like I'm a kid now. Because I don't know what his next move is. It's crazy.
Scared out your mind, I can imagine.
Yes. And I have to just go and, turn him in. That took a lot out of me, man. I thought he was going to come and hurt me and my kids. I went home and, try to put all them in one room. And, my old man told me I'm going crazy. Yes, I might just go crazy if I don't get everybody in one room. So he left out of the room. You stand in there. As long as my kids in here, I'm good. I actually passed out once I got them. I don't know nothing. My kids, I was hollering in my sleep. Why you did that? Why you did that? They went to school. And they told me about it when they got home.
Was that a hard decision for you to do?
Yes. It was hard, but I know it's something I had to do. Because it wasn't just about him. He was old enough. He knew better. But it was the drugs he was on. Heroin again. Straight in his nose. So I don't know what did it hit. But I know he took a big sniff of it. And I'm like, boy, what did you have in that bag for to make you do that to that child? And then you're gonna leave him? Why? I don't know.
Did you ever think about getting counseling directly after that?
Man, I got counseling. I still got counseling going on. Taking medicine. It ain't easy. Nobody never know what I'm going through, what I'm doing, because I really don't be broadcasting what's going on. But I have to, get transportation to go to an appointment or something. I'm going to my meeting, my counseling sessions or whatever. I've been through drug court 3 times and inpatient and all that stuff, man. I'm not trying to go to none of them places no more. Jailhouse, I'm not trying to do none of that stuff no more. Communications go a long way. If I have a problem, I go up there and talk to the chief himself. And I don't care who it is, or if I go talk to the mayor, anybody. So if they can't help me, then I know my next step is to stay out of the way. They're not doing nothing to help it. They're not stopping anything.
Do you feel like it's working?
Oh yeah, that's what.